right, Cornelius.
What's up,
Would
bitch?
you rather be stalked by a demon that scares the out of you 3 times a week at random, or every time somebody farts around you, you taste it for 1 second?
Ew. That one.
That's the one you'd rather have?
I have I don't like getting scared.
So you're going to taste farts?
I basically already do with you.
You don't taste them.
Yeah.
I don't fart into your mouth.
You're a little like fart monster.
I can upgrade.
You fart consistently next to me all the time.
Yeah, but you don't taste them.
And the gall that you don't think that I can smell it already.
I'm not saying you can't smell it. I'm saying you don't taste them.
Taste and smell are basically the same thing.
Oh, no. Tasting a fart is much worse than smelling it.
You are bad enough that I might as well taste it.
According to my roommate, my farts aren't potent.
Your roommate also like has a cat that loves smelling your farts, so maybe it runs in the family.
He doesn't love smelling my farts. He just doesn't mind them.
His cat will run up to your ass to smell your fart and then stay there in the splash zone.
In the splash zone? Hands up, you're in the splash zone.
Yeah, because
you quickly decided that you'd rather taste farts?
I have a like jumpy heart. I don't like it. I feel like I'm having a stroke after I get jump scared. I won't watch horror movies because I don't like jump scares. I can deal with gore. I can deal with abuse.
But can you deal with more than smez?
I can deal with just a general meanery. But if you jump scare me, I will smack a bitch. It's not my thing. I don't like it.
So it's not even debatable
I go into like a cold sweat.
It's not even debatable for you.
No. I don't know. Maybe eventually I'll learn to love the taste of farts. It'll awaken something in me.
But you'll never learn to love the taste of fear?
The taste of fear? No, that's my blood because it's seeping from my body and trying to escape.
But the demon scares you only 3 times a week. And it's like, I mean, you could potentially
unless
yourself.
it's like a roommate jump scare kind of thing, like the demon's just like not a bad guy. He needed a place to crash.
No, he's terrifying.
Yeah, like no, why would I want that? 3 times a week for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Keep you in check.
Here's the thing. I would just, live in an area where I don't have any friends or family, and therefore I don't have to taste farts.
What's the difference now?
Exactly. So there you go. No jump scares for me, pal. Fuck that demon.
Fine. Welcome back. My name's Nick.
I'm Corey, and you're watching That's Debatable. It's a podcast hosted by us and made for you because you guys promote us with questions and stuff. Support us. What did I say?
Did you have a stroke?
I'm having a stroke. Nick is basically my sleep paralysis demon. I don't know what I'm trying to say right now.
Sleep paralysis?
Yeah, there's too many of you. Anyways, thank you guys so much for supporting us. And if you want to see the full uncut and uncensored version of this podcast, early access, go to our Patreon link down below, where you can also get our exclusive bit.
Exclusive segment
for anyone else's eyes but patrons.
YouTube can't see, and you guys get to ask us what you want us to talk about. Yep. So if you want us to talk about smelly fart demons, you request it. Anyways, if you want to listen to this podcast on the audio platforms, check it out in the links below for Audible, Spotify, all the other good stuff. Anyways.
Yeah, if you want to listen to us when you're driving, that'll be a good time.
What do you think your sleep paralysis demon looks like?
You.
I'm not scary.
You.
I'm not scary.
You are scary.
A paralysis demon can't be attractive.
Okay.
Why would it be attractive?
You.
The blasphemy, you fucking whore.
Your creepy ass smile that you do.
Which one?
That one.
My regular smile, your creepy ass smile.
No,
This is a good segue into the next bit, actually.
When you want to, you have like a Bill Skarsgård kind of look. You look like the It demon. when you're in your like drunk, extra like wide smile. Take this as a comment because you don't feel like this. It's not you anymore. You used to have a big forehead. Like
I still have a big forehead.
No, but now it like suits you with your haircut. Before your haircuts made it like bigger, and so
short hair.
Yeah, so like the It demon, he like kind of has a peanut shaped head. Like, it's bigger at the top.
Yeah,
that's you or was you.
Yeah, this one dude in gym class called me penis head. Asshole.
Wait, why?
He could barely put a sentence together, so it's not like a big insult.
I know. Penis head would make it sound like you have a big dick.
No, my head was a penis head.
Yeah, you have a big head.
That's not a compliment. Someone telling you have a penis head is not good.
I don't know how that fits with the big part.
That's not a compliment.
If you had a small head, being a penis head would be like, you have a penis head and it's small.
But saying somebody's head looks like a dick doesn't really help.
It doesn't really look like a dick. It's just large. It's like above average size.
A dick can be above average.
You have like a duplex version of a head.
A duplex. I take my large head with all of its gains it's given me.
Yeah, like extra bone density.
Yes, it's better for getting crushed, I guess.
You could probably run your head into a wall and be fine.
Thank you, Corey.
That's what I'm here for.
These are all backhanded compliments.
If you got in a car crash, your brain would be better than the average person.
You've seen that insult? You're built for car crashes. When someone just looks
I haven't heard that.
Morbidly awful.
You're not built. Well, no, I guess maybe, but like, you're not built
I'm
overall.
not built for car crashes.
Not overall. It's just that your brain would be better. Like you wouldn't have
maybe
brain
not,
damage.
but maybe it has more room to jiggle. My brain don't jiggle. It folds.
It has more padding.
Does it though?
Yeah.
I don't think you want padding. You don't want the brain to move a lot in the head.
You got more of a crumple zone.
I don't think that's how skulls work. Who am I to say though?
Listen,
I'm no anatomist.
I wasn't the one who paid for an addition to my house in the form of an extra head, 5 head.
Now you've lost me. I think you've lost yourself too.
I was going with a duplex joke. I ran into the ground.
Yeah,
beat that dead horse off.
That joke is dead. All right, Chorus. Let's talk about today's lovely topic.
We're going to talk about the worst way that somebody has been rejected.
The most brutal rejections people have faced.
Yeah.
And by people, I mean men.
We're not talking about you're rejected from Harvard's kind of things.
We're talking about you're rejected from Poon.
Those are too common. People get rejected from Harvard on the daily.
Rejected from love, which is probably more common than being rejected from Harvard.
It's less love, more like rejected from like social contact.
So even before love.
Well before love.
You're rejected from touch.
I feel like being rejected from love implies that you got to like, and I don't think you got that far.
These people didn't.
No, they didn't.
Okay, I'll start. Been walked away from mid-sentence. You walk up to someone, try to use a pickup line, you don't even finish it. They're just like, oh, no,
That's just rude.
This is you getting the survey question pop up on your YouTube, and you're just spamming skip. No, skip, I don't care what detergent brand I use.
How far would you get into the pickup line that they're like, nope, heard this one before? It's like, hey, baby, are you from Tennessee? And she's like, nope, I'm from New York. See you later.
Toodles. Damn,
it
baby,
must have been a really bad pickup line.
Did you fall from heaven? Nope. I was born on Earth, and I don't want to talk to you.
It has to be a pickup line because you can't just go.
I don't think it's a pickup line.
I mean, unless you went up to someone. Imagine your sentence is high, period, and you're like, and they're like, no, no.
I do not want to extend my warranty. I think it's a decision that's made in you've heard this before, where somebody makes a decision almost instantaneously.
Oh yeah,
whether or not they would sleep with someone.
Some people, I think mostly women, because they're the ones that get approached, have like a premonition that someone is. It's like a spidey sense that someone's coming to hit on them.
I don't know if they do.
I think some people do. Some women do. They're more spidey than women.
They need to apply that.
Yeah, they got the sense. Exactly.
Okay.
And they got that Peter tingle when they feel a guy coming around.
I hope nothing tingles when they come around.
It's like the back of your neck hair stands up and you're like, holy shit, someone's gonna hit on me in a second.
I feel a creep coming. He's on the horizon.
I've seen it in a club where someone will go up to a girl and
in the club
when she's dancing with her friends in the club, and the guy will walk over and she'll just scream no, like from 10 feet away.
You've seen this happen?
Yeah.
I've never seen somebody scream no.
Well, it's like more like yell over the music, but like it's a scream.
Normally
Imagine you're like
uncomfortable.
No,
I think I'd react differently if I heard a no.
Well, it's like
is this a walrus being choked?
How do you make a sound of like someone who's like trying to scream but like can't get like their voice over the music?
Oh, over the music.
Yeah, it's like
I thought that was going to a darker place.
No, I won't go out with you. No,
I
don't want to drink.
My limited memories of our bar escapades were
a lot of it was people watching, which was that.
People watching, but I don't remember people hearing.
It was a very clear line of sight that I had to this.
I don't think I've ever heard. No, maybe I have. I guess I have no memories of that.
Yeah, most of your memories going out are you just kind of like going like, okay, we're in the bar. Next bar?
Going out sucks. Like now that I'm like older and that if somebody asks, hey Nick, do you want to go out? My immediate thought, it's like a flow chart and my brain processes this in less than a like half second. Fuck no.
I think it's because you do it wrong.
No. It's because going out, I'm paying a lot of money to be uncomfortable.
You're not paying any money.
When you go out, like you get drinks, you Uber, all of that, it adds up quick.
You pregame, you get a designated driver.
I don't know, the last few times I went out, I probably spent over $100
on food.
Uber, food, late night, alcohol at the bar, all of that. Like
You get food late night anyways.
It's a waste of money. It's uncomfortable. I hate it. I hate everyone I'm with. I hate you.
You can't add "I hate it" to a reason when all the other things are things that you also hate.
Give me a brutal rejection. We've only done one.
Okay. Was told we should just be friends. A week later, I was told we should be the type of friends that don't talk to each other.
Fuck, is that the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh man.
What does that even mean?
That means you're fucking shadow zoned. You've been banished to the shadow realm.
Hey, I think we should just be friends. My friends don't ever talk to me, text me, come around my house. We don't even look each other in the hallway.
That sounds like someone that's been threatened.
Yeah.
Like
my friends actually have restraining orders.
If you go up to approach to someone and you ask them out and they feel threatened by you saying, "Hey, can I buy you a drink?" and they're threatened by that, things aren't going too well, I imagine.
Oh my God, yeah. Let's be friends. Can you go get me a drink? And then when you come back, I'm not going to be here. And we'll never talk about it again.
I'll still take your drink, though.
Okay.
Back in school, I asked a girl to one of the dances, and 6 of her friends took turns telling me she didn't want to go with me throughout the rest of the day. Some of them seemed to enjoy it. That's fucking awful.
Mean girl behavior.
That is, I can't imagine getting that's like getting a firing squad of embarrassment.
It's definitely not all at the same time though. If it was all 6 girls like pointing and being like, "She won't go out with you," it'd be embarrassing, but it'd be over and done with.
Hey, by the way, just reminding you, Sarah, we talked about it in our group chat today multiple times. Sarah does not want to go out with you.
I'm imagining you did this at the beginning of the day, like homeroom, like before your classes start, everyone's like walking the hallway. You go up to this girl and be like, "Will you go out with me?" And she's like, "Get a load of this guy," and then walks over to her friends. Then you're like, "Okay, whatever. That's embarrassing, but it's done." Then after like second period, you're walking in the hall, someone shoves you in your shoulder, and it's like a girl half your size being like, "By the way, Jessica said no." And you're like, "What?"
By which reminder are you now like, is it the 4th rejection? Like reminder of rejection that a girl comes up to and you're like, no. I don't want to go out with Sarah anymore. Don't worry.
Think by
don't
the
even
end of
tell
the day,
me.
By like the 6th time it happens, like Jessica is not interested. I know already.
I'm not even interested anymore. Dude, like I'm trying to think of an analogy where
Of being told that
being reminded.
that you're not worth something multiple times after you've been told the lesson. I don't know. There's not much you can do with that. Do you have anything off the top of your head?
Nothing.
I'm blanking hard.
I got nothing.
There's very few situations where someone wants to remind you over and over again how much you are just not worth their time, which is like counterproductive because it's their time to now waste of how much they're telling you how you're not worth their time.
It's the whole never text me again. 10 minutes later, they text them again saying, "You up? I'm horny."
I don't know. It's like a solicitor coming to your door being like, "Hey, would you like to buy these Cutco knives? There's just really, really good knives." And you're like, "No, thanks." And then they leave. And then they come back. "By the way, I know you told me to leave. You know, it would really help if you had these knives to threaten me with. Then
that's a good opener, though. I'd consider that. I'd be like, that's good. Like, can I stab you with one of them after I buy it?
I don't know. That's just brutal.
Having 6 people remind you of how little of a chance you had.
Yeah, it sucks.
Which one's the nail in the coffin?
I think the first time it happens, you're like, what is going on? I think the second time it's mortifying. And then after that, it's kind of downhill from there.
It's probably nullified after the second time.
Yeah, I think
it's just like...
I think it's every first new encounter. So you being rejected hurts.
You being rejected on someone else's behalf.
You being rejected by her friend, now you know it's spreading. I think that second time just hurts like fucking hell.
After that's probably nothing.
After that, it's like, okay, we get it. Like, you guys are just being bullies. All right. My sister hooked up with a classmate a few times and says they got along very well, sometimes coming over to hook up and never getting the chance because they would just get so lost in conversation. So she asks him one day saying, "Hey, we get along so well, and I think you're pretty attractive. Maybe we can go on a date." Without a beat, the guy looks at her and says, "Listen, I'll have sex with you, but I can't be seen in public with you." That's fucking disgusting.
That can't be seen in public with you. Like, I'll bang you, but no one can know about it. This relationship is our little secret. And by little secret, I mean, I don't want anyone knowing that I banged you.
I don't think my self-esteem could drop further than someone saying, I can't be seen in public with you.
Would you still do it if the person was like drop dead gorgeous? Like you were getting an opportunity. I guess it's a different phase of life.
This person would have to be so high on the totem pole in life that you're like, you know what? I understand. Like if it was like I don't know, major celebrity.
Sydney
like,
Sweeney.
Yeah, who has a husband. Yeah, then like,
Is
sure.
she married?
Yeah.
Really?
Or engaged. I don't know.
Okay.
Either way. It's like, yeah, I get it. I can't be seen in public with you. That'd be an affair. Get it.
No. But that's not why. That's not why.
I know. It's more like, can't be seen in public with you.
Imagine
you would make me look bad.
Single Sydney Sweeney tells you, hey, I would bang you, but no one can know about it.
I think that like the first time it'd be like, okay, this is an adventure. Ooh, it's like a new thing. A famous person's interested in me, even for like a little bit. After that, it's like, okay, now I'm a little bit attached. I want some more. I want to be like a thing.
Closet secret would suck.
I think it only can last as long as you think it's like a fun secret, and then once you start wanting more, it's like a friends with benefits thing.
Yeah.
But even then,
one person will end up
if it never
fucking
intended to be that way, you thought this was like a blossoming relationship. Imagine meeting someone on Tinder, going on a few dates. It's like the 5th date. You guys are talking. You're having a good time. And then you're like, hey, do you want to like make this official? And they say, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't tell you. I don't plan on this ever making it back to my circle of friends. This is just a us thing.
This is secret.
Yeah. This is just a...
You're my secret friend.
This is just a... I like the way that this works in a little fairy tale land zone. But in the real world, no, this wouldn't work. I have standards.
That's bad. That's. I think you cut it off there. You cut your losses. You move on with life.
Yeah. They've essentially lowered you to a lower social class. They're saying like you are beneath the dirt.
You're a stain on their shirt.
Yeah.
Fucking awful.
Can't date someone like that. I mean, they wouldn't date you anyways, but you know, it's the principle.
First year of middle school. She said no, then she ran in the girls' bathroom and cried.
She said no, and then she went and cried?
Yep. The guy asked her, hey, do you want to date?
Wow.
She said no, and then ran away and cried, as if she had just faced some type of horror.
This man put so much pressure on her by asking her that it traumatized her into breaking out in tears.
Oh my God, your approach is traumatic to someone.
That's
you saying,
awful.
hi, you're cute. Can we go out?
She's thinking like, this guy asked me out. What energy am I putting out to make him think that was okay? I need to reevaluate my life.
I need to cry and run away.
Sometimes you
my
need to
safety
cry.
is at harm.
Yeah.
That
guy rocked her world, and not the good way.
Rocked like stone throwing at the head.
Yeah. Stoned her in the face with his terrible pickup line. I asked a girl out and she looked me up and down and then said, I'd rather shovel pig shit for a penny a pound with a baby spoon than go out with you.
That's really specific.
That's so specific.
That's not a canned insult. That's not a
that was, she just like ripped it off the dome.
Yeah, that's what's better than going out with this person? I would rather lick broken glass out of a dirty public toilet while getting my head caved in with a chair. Yeah. Like that's a lot of detail.
She had it locked and loaded.
That was like a would you rather level of detail.
It's like earlier that day someone asked if she wants to shovel pig with a spoon. She's like, no, fuck that. That's the worst thing in the world. And this guy
Second
asked her
to
out.
him.
He's like, you know what? Not the worst thing. I'd rather do that.
I sometimes wonder, like, do some people not see other people as like
humans?
No. Like,
No.
do they see them as like NPCs or subhuman like creatures?
If you don't have to interact with this person ever again, then yeah, it's really easy to dehumanize people. I think it happens less in an upper level school kind of area. Because like in middle school or like early high school, people are still super immature emotionally.
Cooties.
But when you see someone frequently, it's hard to be mean to them without just being a complete douchebag and knowing you're a douchebag.
It's hard to be mean to them without being a complete douchebag?
Without, like, you know you're a douchebag. Like, you can't pretend you're a good
You're
person.
saying it's harder to do that when you're younger or older?
When you're younger, you don't have the emotional maturity to realize that you are, like, not behaving right. And when
Yeah.
you're older, you know that that's not how people are supposed to react. But if you only see someone one time in your life because they asked you out at the supermarket, then you can dehumanize them and move on. But if
I just don't think I could live with myself.
No,
like,
because
knowing I made someone feel horrible.
Because we're supposed to be good people. But if you're in like a zone where you interact with this person all the time, like an office space, like you work with them, coworkers.
In the zone. Auto zone.
Yeah,
That's the office space?
Whatever's
Auto
going
zone?
on in your head right now is confusing me, but sure.
Are you going to run away and cry?
if you work at AutoZone, I guess, with this coworker, you want to have a decent rapport because you have to interact with them on a daily basis. So if they ask you out, you're not going to just destroy their self-esteem and make them want to shoot up a school or something.
Because you have to see them again, and you're
because you now are going to be on their wrath.
You are the school.
Yeah.
Okay. Super late to the party and wasn't a rejection as such, but a girl I had taken out a few times and I were at a relatively expensive restaurant.
Okay.
She couldn't find her phone, so I called it. It rang next to me. I was saved as free dinner. So this isn't a direct rejection, but I think it's the last piece of the puzzle that the fella needed to understand that he should reject himself from this.
Yes, he was rejected from future prospects. He wasn't rejected from free dinner.
Being free dinner on someone's phone means they tolerate you enough to get a free nice meal out of you. That's f***ed up. Why would you even want... Okay, so like expensive restaurants. I don't know if some people like seek out to feel royal, but why would you want to enjoy an expensive meal experience with someone that you don't care about?
I think
What is it?
It's... You know what I've heard? I don't know if I believe this, but what I've heard is that as a guy, you have 3 values to society. It's your looks, your personality, and your status. And if you don't have the looks and you don't have like that much of a great, charming, like hilarious personality, then your status is the only thing valuable going for you. And so if you want to charm someone into attempting to stick with you for the rest of their life, you got to start off on a strong foot. You got to pay for an expensive dinner. That's what some people believe. I don't believe that. I will take someone to Taco Bell and they will love it.
Why?
And if not, they're not for me.
Taco Bell's delicious.
Exactly.
It's not
that's
expensive,
what I'm saying.
but it's delicious.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you can't enjoy Taco Bell, then like we're not on the same wavelength.
What I want to know though is why? What are you getting out of that dinner other than the food, which is like, I guess somebody could be wanting food badly enough. There is easier ways to get food.
Getting free dinner, and the guy is getting his ego stroked in the hopes that he gets his dick stroked.
Uncomfortable at least 1 hour interaction with someone who they have no interest in? Or is it someone they tolerate as a friend, but they're using them for food?
Are you saying for the guy's perspective? Because the guy is interested in just any kind of attention.
Yeah, the guy's taking a girl out on a date with the thoughts that like they're building rapport, and
the
eventually
girl
potentially
is interested in free fancy dinner. If she labeled him as free dinner in the phone.
But is that dinner worth putting up with? Maybe they just like the person as a friend.
I don't know. There's so many like scheming things I can imagine. If you're the kind of person that writes free dinner as someone's contact in your phone, you're probably also the kind of person that goes out and like posts this expensive dinner on your Instagram to make another guy jealous so that he'll take you out to dinner as well.
Honestly, like what you're describing right now sounds f***ing insane.
Yes.
But this 100% happens on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Like all the time.
Yeah, I imagine like the kind of person that takes someone out or goes out with dinner. Goes out to dinner.
Go out with dinner?
I go out with dinner all the time to lunch. All right.
My girlfriend's name is Dinner because I eat her.
Okay.
Okay, that was awkward.
If you go out to dinner with someone to an expensive restaurant and you label them as free dinner, I imagine you also have like a rotation of guys that you're trying to get free dinner from the other nights of the week. I'm surprised she didn't write in her phone, free dinner Tuesday.
Maybe this is a power trip for the girl that she can finesse the guy into just giving her a nice dinner.
I think that there are some people that they have a phase in their life.
That's
whether
wild.
a guy or a girl, they're like, you know what? I want to see how far I can get with just like manipulating people. And it's not fun. Not fun.
I guess
for
some people
else.
don't feel remorse for that.
No.
They should. They should feel a lot of remorse for being pieces of
If you out there have free dinner in your phone as a contact, change your ways.
Please.
Maybe make it not free dinner.
Make it...
At least pay for the tip.
Make it good time. No. I don't know. Just stop. Just... Ew. Ew. What's the worst you could say? Gross. Ew. Fuck you. That's all.
You think the guy saw free dinner and is like, ew. Gross. And then walked away? Probably not. He probably stuck it out.
He probably got pretty sad, finished the dinner, paid for it.
Oh, you know what'd be so sad? As he saw it said free dinner, pretend like he didn't see it and try to keep the date going in the hopes that like, I can make this work. And then he asked her out a second time. She's like, no, ghost him. And then he makes the post because he's sad, as we all would be.
I don't think there's going forward after that because
some people are.
You are unless your self-worth is terrible.
That's the kind of person that does. Yeah, that's how it goes.
Possible. Yeah.
Where are we at? Ugh. This person said they were told this at 14 years old. You're the kind of boy that all the girls want to marry, but not the kind of boy we want to date.
That's an insult.
That would with my head.
That's a you're the safe bet.
At 14. How do you know what a girl wants to marry at 14?
Probably somebody who like is a super good boy.
You're the kind of boy that all the girls want to marry. I don't have a job. I don't have a car.
Nothing. I can go home, jerk off, and play video games. What do you mean? I'm the kind of...
That would fuck with my entire sense of like direction in life. If someone said you're the kind of guy that people want to marry but not date. Because I'm like... But that's the goal.
What if that's honorable to you? You're like, this is good. I'm going in the right direction.
It would make me think like, what is the gap between those two things?
They want a bad boy.
No, they don't.
Clearly not a bad boy.
No, they don't. They want a bad boy who pays for their shit and treats them like a princess, but is bad to other people.
They want a fake bad boy who looks edgy but isn't bad. I don't know. We don't know what you guys want.
Do you want a bad boy? Stop being a bad girl or boy. I don't know. Whatever. Stop wanting bad boys. It's weird.
Okay. During my early 20s, a friend invited me to a club and I went. I asked a girl to dance and she said, "No thanks, but you can with my friend." The girl next to her replied with, "No, you should dance with him. He asked you." Oh. And then they started to argue each other for feeling insulted. I left them both because I already got it. Basically, both girls escalated the argument over me like I was some kind of punishment for the one who loses.
That's awful.
That is really bad.
That's so fucked up.
That is fucking horrible. If I was being passed around like in the bad way of like, you're trash, somebody take it and like get it away from me, my self-esteem would crumble.
Now for the rest of your life, you're playing Never Have I Ever. Never have I ever had girls fight over me. You have to put down your finger and they're going to ask, "What do you mean? Who fought over you?" And you're like, "Well, they fought over who had to take me."
They fought over not having me.
Yeah, neither of them wanted me. And it was a punishment. That's fucking terrible.
Oh my God, dude. I literally can't imagine. Like, a lot of people like the excitement of going out to a bar and meeting somebody new that they could dance with and hang out with and like, I don't know, exchange numbers, maybe kiss, whatever. Wherever the night goes.
Maybe exchange numbers, maybe get a little smooch.
Maybe kiss, maybe get married, have kids, impregnate someone, cream pie their butthole.
Maybe have a baby in the bar, in the club.
But then to be treated as a fucking...
every time you go out, there's a wild card. There's a wild card event that happens every time you go out.
I mean, this is a story to tell.
That's it.
I don't know if I'd want to tell this story to people.
I think it'd be fun once you have a partner because you're like, I don't need to worry about that.
I was treated as a punishment.
Yeah.
Your presence is such shit that you're a punishment.
If you have leveled up in life since then, like let's say this happened when you're 20 and you're awkward and you're like in between puberty phase, like you're kind of in the middle of it, but you're not done, like actually kind of filling out your shirt. And you don't have confidence yet. Your voice is still cracking a little bit. But like 5 years later, you're a much more developed, confident person. I think you can make fun of it. It's not you anymore. At that point, you're making fun of like a character that doesn't exist.
I guess I feel
it's
like
fictional.
That making fun of my past self.
Yeah.
Like you evolve and you get better.
Yeah,
hopefully.
exactly. Like you can make fun of yourself from 5 minutes ago and it's fine.
I don't like where you're going with this.
What do you mean?
You're a cum rag. Is what I mean.
All right. A game of spin the bottle with my crush and a bunch of other people at a birthday party.
Oh, this is going to go well.
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen? We played several rounds, and when my spin landed on my crutch, she just got up and said, "Let's play something else."
I personally don't think those games can go well in general.
Those games are basically just putting people together like Match.com. But if you're not meant to be a match, the game ends.
It's a recipe for disaster. The only time I see it potentially working is if you're one of those slutty friend groups where everyone bangs each other, which I've heard exist. I've never been part of one of those.
I think it's also like school. If you're like under the age of 20 and over the age of 11, spin the bottles your kind of thing.
That's way more devastating because it wasn't like a random matchup like some girl that you like barely know or don't care about, like LeBron Lennon and them, and they were like, "I don't want to do this." This is a person who, like, when you have a crush in high school, it's someone you basically fantasize about often and like.
Well, yeah, it's your only like outlet.
Yeah, you're probably inexperienced. You're obsessing over someone essentially, maybe not to a bad way, but like you think about them often.
As long as you didn't react poorly from this, but that
I don't think you can react well from this. Like, it's,
you could take it on the chin and be like, "Wow, that's up, ain't it, guys?"
I mean, it ends the crush.
Yeah, that's
actually maybe not even.
No, maybe
it'll be down bad enough
it'll
to
awaken
keep
something
going.
in him. You're like, "Wow, I like it when girls are mean to me." Where did this come from?
Kink unlocked.
Talk to your therapist years later. I like getting dominated, but I don't know why. It may have been that time where a girl walked away from me in the middle of Spin the Bottle. That could have been it. That was a bad time. I feel like if you're playing Spin the Bottle, there's no other way to say this. You need to be of all like equal attractiveness
But that's impossible.
You need to not be.
You need to have a chance.
You need to not be the person that people are hoping
to not get.
Because think about it like this. Every time you gamble, like let's say you're doing a slot machine.
Yeah.
There's bad things that can happen. But there's good things that can happen and that makes you excited.
Yeah.
When you're playing Spin the Bottle, there's good things that make you excited.
But does it not make it more excited that like you say half the odds are someone who you find very attractive and half the odds are...
Yeah, but that means that like you're excited to get the good odds. When you get the person that you don't enjoy looking at for more than a second before you get a little...
You swallow your pride and...
Vomit in your throat. You swallow that too. And that... is not what you want. And you don't want to be on the receiving end of that either. You don't want to know that someone thinks of you as the bottom tier object.
That would be fucking awful. Genuinely awful.
If you walked into a game of Spin the Bottle and you looked around the room and you're like, they're all pretty attractive. Wait, they're all really attractive. Wait, what?
You feel like you're outclassed?
And then you see someone spin on you and their reaction isn't immediate. It's
fuck.
Yeah.
If they say fuck and it's not an excited, it's not like a fuck yes. It's a
who would play Spin the Bottle and just say fuck in a way that's excited? They look at you and you're like, fuck. It's a period. It's like a statement.
If
fuck.
they say oh like in a good way or yeah, like that's great.
I guess so, but even then it would probably intimidate me. If someone was playing Spin the Bottle, spinned a bottle and got me and they're like, fuck yeah.
You wouldn't be excited? You'd be like, wow, I'm like really desirable.
Part of me would be
your
excited.
Your ego would eat it up, Corey.
My ego that's in the back of my head would, but
your ego's in the front of your head.
But my avoidant personality would be like, that's a lot. That's a lot right now.
No chance.
I don't like that kind of confrontation.
You climb on the train and go choo-choo.
I don't know.
Take me to the next stop, baby.
I think it would definitely be like, whoa, slow down there.
Okay. This one is great. If I'm honest, I don't really see you as a friend. More as a friend of a friend. Friend of a friend zone, dude. You couldn't even make it into the friend zone. You're in the outer ring. You're just watching from a distance.
That is f***ing brutal.
Acquaintance zoned?
How do you go from like talking to someone to then move back out to friend of a friend?
You leave. That's how. You don't further engage.
I'm saying like
you've lost this battle.
Let's assume that this interaction was to be your like continual. This is who you guys are to each other now.
Friend of a friend?
Yeah. If you were in the same social circles, sort of, where you are actually a friend of a friend, but you've met, at that point, if you have like more people in common where you're going to be meeting more than once, every 6 months, at that point, you're not just an acquaintance or friend of a friend. You're like more friendly.
If I was hanging out at a place that I frequent and I saw somebody there, I was like, hey, buddy. And they were like, I don't know, you're not really like a buddy. You're like a buddy's buddy. I'd be like, I'm never talking to you again.
There's no way to have that interaction go anything other than, okay, you've clearly just put up a wall between anything that's going to be between us. Not even romantically, it's just like socially.
Leave. Yeah. It's horrible.
If you introduced me to a friend of yours and I told them, yeah, not happening. Like, you're his friend, not my friend. Get lost. Not only would that make you look bad, that would be like just really awkward.
I don't know if it would make me look bad. I think you would just look bad.
Well, no, I would definitely look bad. I would look very bad. But you'd look bad for introducing us. I've had that happen, sort of.
You have?
Yeah, kind of. It was thrust upon me where somebody tried to set me up with their friend.
Uh-huh.
And like I had no idea this was happening until like that night. And they're like, yeah, like you get along with her really well. And then as soon as I meet her, like I'm just very casual, like nice to meet you, whatever, same as I'm doing with everybody else. And then pretty soon after that, she's just like flips a switch and is, you think you're all high and mighty because you do YouTube? What do you think this is? And I'm like, I don't know where you thought this was going, but it's stopping here.
Is that similar?
It was yeah, it was kind of like I see you as a friend of a friend. It was like she was trying to like put the stop on it, and I was like, I wasn't even trying. I don't know where you thought this was going.
That sounds uncomfortable.
It was. I was very uncomfortable.
Very cool.
I did not know where that was going. All right, this person said, arrived at a coffee house for casual first date encounter after indirect introduction. Her first sentence, you're a bit short for my taste. Do you mind if I just cut it off here?
I mean, did she get catfished? Did you put 6 foot on the profile when you're really 5'9"?
The guy said he's actually 6 feet tall and she's 5'3".
Oh, that's fucked. Dude, I walked in the court. I was playing pickleball last night. I walked in the court and my teammate was like, you're tall as fuck. He's like, are you 6'5"? I'm like, yeah, good guess. And he's like, how tall do you think I am? And I looked at him and I'm like, 5'10". He's like, I'm really 5'9", but I'll take 5'10". I was like, This
guy's
the Tinder
super
profile.
excited, I guess.
He was hyped, dude. He was awesome. Cool dude.
To talk about height.
No, he was just positive energy, just like funny. I don't know. That was good. That was the opposite of a brutal rejection.
Yeah, no, that was a very on top of it.
That's
rejection.
though. Why do you think you have the right as a tiny human to be like, no, you're not tall enough. You're significantly taller than the person.
The only thing I could think of is that maybe she's like really into what's not eugenics, the opposite of that. Genetic like experimentation, where she's like, okay, my genetics suck for height. I need to balance it. Yeah.
Okay.
She's like, I must have 7 feet tall, otherwise my children will be dwarfs.
No, the other thing is that could have been a less offensive cover up. Maybe she like found the person extremely unattractive.
That's just as offensive.
Is it?
Yeah. If you go to somebody and you're like, hey, listen, I don't know where you thought this was going. Let's cut it off here. You're just too ugly. It's like, I can't control that any more than my height.
But would that bother you because you never had a chance?
It would bother me because they are rude and they shouldn't open their mouths to people in the world at all. That would bother me.
Well,
it would ruin my day.
The good reply would be, maybe you should shut the up and go find a house and get hit by it.
It wouldn't make me upset that I don't have a chance with them, because I don't want a chance with someone who's a pile of shit. A 5'3" pile of shit.
I didn't know they stack high. I asked the girl out and she said yes. Surprise face. This is a bad sign going into it. During dinner, she stated she only went out with me because she wanted to go out to dinner and didn't have any money. She said
what is wrong with people?
She said I was so below her social status that she was taking a chance to take a hit on her rep for just being seen in public with me, and I should be grateful for paying her to eat.
What do you mean take a hit to her rep? Does she have a sex credit credit report?
That's insane.
Is she gonna lose 100 points on her credit report for sex? People can't go out with me because they know I date ugly guys.
To be so egotistical, to be like, wow, if I'm seen in public with you, this is similar to the one you talked about.
Yeah.
Fucking awful people.
But she said the part like, it'll ruin my rep. It'll take a hit to my rep.
Yeah, I'm exchanging. You give me free dinner, I give you the risk of being seen with you.
The fuck? The decency you could at least have if you're this kind of girl is just not say the unknown part. You know, just keep that to yourself and then ghost them. Don't say it at the table.
Yeah, I think in this case, getting ghosted is significantly better.
If you're a douche and you go up and take advantage of someone who like wants to actually get to know you, and you say yes just for free food without any intention of actually like caring about them, just don't say the mean part unless you do it before dinner starts so they can leave before paying. Then you give them an out.
Yeah, at the very least, that's true, because this way they're basically paying you for nothing. Like,
yeah,
you're paying for their dinner, I guess, for your time. You're like a
mustachioed villain.
You're like a food escort.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Food whore?
Essentially, yeah. Food whore.
Oh my God.
Food prostitute.
I'm just imagining, if you go out to dinner like this, do you wait until dinner's over and they get the check and pay it? Like, as soon as the check goes down and they sign it, you're like, by the way, blah, 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 would never have gone out with you. It'll take a hit. Like, when do you say
that was a fake check. That was my copy. You're paying for dinner, bitch.
How soon after the check goes down or before do you say this? Does your villain monologue start as soon as the check hits the table, or is it like later that night when he's like, by the way, would you like to go out again?
Do you think this is similar to like when you ask for double meat at Chipotle, where it's after the first scoop has been applied so that your intention of asking for double meat can no longer affect the original scoop that's being asked for?
I don't like this analogy.
If you ask for double meat at Chipotle, everyone knows you have to ask after the first scoop, because if you ask before the first scoop, you're probably going to get, let's say, 2 times what a small amount of meat would be.
Yeah, but they know your tricks now.
After the first scoop, who gives a you're not going to see them again. And it's not like you're going on a date with them. They're building
That's not the problem. I mean,
they're building your Chipotle bowl.
They know. They know you're an ogre and you ask for 1 scoop, they know you're going to ask for 2.
They'll give you 1.5 scoops, then you ask for double meat, you get 3 scoops instead of 2. I'm onto it.
I think that if you did that, I could see one of the people behind the counter just being like, they take a single piece of chicken and just plop it on. There, bud.
You see them spit in your bowl.
All right. I got an option for 1 more.
I have 2 more, so go for it.
Okay, then I can do 2 more.
Blah, 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 blah. Are they good?
Oh, yeah. I just got to figure out which one is the best. Okay, this person said, I met some guy through a friend, but we had only talked online and texted, so we finally decided to meet up, and the deal was we both bring a friend. Anyway.
The classic double date first meetup.
Yeah, it's for safety, I guess. It's less weird than one party bringing a friend.
I think this is
interrogation.
I think this, yeah, that is weird. I think this is more normal the younger you are.
I guess, depends. Like, is your friend your dad?
No, that's not good. That's not good.
Hey, Sally, you want to go on a date? I can't drive or pay, but my dad can. Bring your dad, and then they can have a date too.
Oh, can you bring your mom? My dad and your mom can go on a date too.
Anyway, the four of us went to the movies, and we were chatting and getting along great. I thought this could go somewhere. After we all left, he texted me and said, it was great meeting you, but you're not really my type. What's your friend's number?
There's a more...
That's so barbaric.
There's a more tactful way to navigate this.
It's also, do you think her friend is such a backstabbing son of a that she would take you out on a date and be like, by the way, I'm dating the guy who said that you're not my type?
Is there any context for how old they were? Because this sounds like some high school bullshit.
Going to movies on a first date with two other people.
Yeah, that's a high school date.
No
one goes to a movie first date after 20.
It's like at the oldest 21.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's some immature bullshit.
I feel like once you're 21, you go to a bar. You don't go to movies with friends.
Movie is a genuinely awful date.
I've gone on a movie date once, and I did not get to watch any of the movie, and I regret paying.
Well, that's a different kind of win.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't go anywhere after that.
Who cares?
But I did.
You were young. And
I actually wanted to watch the movie.
I don't know.
I was excited to watch it.
I guess people do it as like a dark place to hook up. I would hate to hook up at a movie because if the movie's terrible... Maybe?
Yeah, but if it's a good movie, and then
going to movies sucks balls in general.
Also, I had like a wave of guilt afterwards because I was like,
because you were sad you lost $20 for paying for tickets.
No, not that, but yes, that, but not that. I was guilty because I felt like this is the kind of thing that I would judge people for being trashy, and in fact, I think I have in the past. Now I'm one of them. I've joined.
You hooked up with someone in a theater?
Like the entire movie, yeah. I felt
Why?
like
Who cares?
You're
in the dark.
I care. Because I have standards and I broke them repeatedly.
Who gives a you kiss someone in a theater?
It wasn't just a kiss. It was a smooch.
Oh.
All right? It meant more to me in the moment.
Big smooches.
Because I was sacrificing watching that movie. It wasn't just a kiss.
College?
No. I was like 16.
High school? You didn't talk to people when you were
This was
school?
at camp.
Oh.
It was like summer camp.
You had movies at camp?
No, it was a date out of camp. I was working.
Oh, you met them at camp?
Yeah, I was working.
Oh, is camp not far away from home?
It was. I mean, it was like an hour, 2 hours away.
Oh, okay.
They have movies out in the area.
Okay.
There was a girl that was also working, and then I don't even know how I got in contact because like this is an all boys summer camp, so like I would just hang out with my bunk. I don't even know. She was like the camp director's babysitter, so like she was just there with like the camp director's kids, and I guess like I would just chat with her every once in a while. I really don't know how it happened. We went to the movies. I slept at her place, and I did not get to see that movie. So there's that.
Not really a brutal rejection, but
no, I don't do that. I don't get rejected because I don't ask.
Okay, you can't get rejected if you never leave your house.
Hey, listen, coaches don't play. Coaches don't play.
Asked her if I could give her my number after talking and dancing together at a mutual friend's wedding. She said, "I don't think it'd do you any good."
Oof.
Okay, this one, while it's a uncomfortable rejection,
that's loaded though.
It's at least kind.
No, it's not.
Would you rather just get the number and then never get a reply?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, yeah, yes. I would.
What in the teacher's pet kind of is, yeah, you could have my number, but I don't think it'll help. That's like getting a textbook for a test.
She didn't even say you could have my number. She just cut to the part of, I don't think it would help you at all.
Yeah. This is literally like you're at a test. You're taking a test and you're like, teacher, can I have a hint? And she's like, I don't think it would help you, dumbass. That's rude. She's insulting you.
Yeah.
To your face.
Yeah.
Right to your face.
Right to your friend. You take it like little.
Yeah.
Like little. I would take this insult.
I would literally just rather have a no than like okay, here's the hint. Either one, we don't go on a date. 2, you would do go on a date. 3, I'd never talk to you again. Which one do you think it is?
That face. That face.
I don't want to guess my own rejection.
But choose your adventure. How do you get rejected? But I don't want to get rejected.
All right, this is my last one, I guess. One time I was talking to a girl that I was starting to crush on over Snapchat. She asked me how you're supposed to friend zone someone. I tell her, you just start telling them they're a really good friend. She responds with, "Thanks, Andrew. You're such a good friend."
Ooh, that's like someone asking you, "Hey, so if you were to rob someone, how would you do it?" And they tell you, and then you proceed to use their advice to rob you.
Thanks
That's
so much.
horrible.
Oh my God. I mean, she's playing smart, I guess.
At least she was like, "Hey, pick your poison." Literally.
Honestly, yeah.
She literally had the guy pick his own execution method.
Well, at least the guy knows that it's the way that she thinks he would have wanted to be let down. Maybe she was just insecure about letting him down harshly. She's like, you know what? You tell me how you want to get let down.
If you were to let somebody down, how would you do it?
I can see the gears turning of like she's trying to be nice, but I think it almost is worse.
Yeah.
Than just being like, no, not even mentioning it. I don't even think the guy asked.
I think knowing you're being friend zoned might be significantly worse than being friend zoned.
I think being friend zoned before you even made your intent clear is way worse than just getting a rejection. If someone comes to you and says, "Hey, I don't like you and I don't think it would ever work," and you're like, "I didn't say anything to you. What do you mean?"
You can't really be offended by that. I mean, you can actually.
I would be offended. I'd be more.
That's an unsolicited rejection.
Yeah, unsolicited rejection is way worse. If I go and ask someone like, "Hey, you want to go out to eat? You want to get like, can I have your number?" I'm at least putting myself out there. I don't want to just get fly-by random drive-by rejections.
Can you imagine somebody approaches you to reject you? Hey, I never want to do anything with you ever.
You're like,
Can you please not talk to me?
By the way, what's your name so I can remember not to talk to you? Imagine you're at your house chilling one night and then you like hear a honk outside and someone in their car driving by slowly. "It would never work between us. Go yourself." They drive away.
You're way too ugly. I wouldn't even use you for free dinner. You ask someone, it's like, "Hey, can I get your number?" And wait, would this work this way?
You're putting yourself out there for asking for their number?
No, hold on. There's a better way to do this.
I could think of a million of these. You get a letter in the mail from Harvard being like, "You're too dumb." It's like
you never applied?
You're in middle school. It's like, even now we know you'd never make it.
You get rejected from a job you never applied for. Well, the joke I was trying to think of was somebody's putting you in their contacts, but not into their contacts, onto their block list.
Holy
instead of getting your contact and blocking you.
I never even thought about that. That'd be crazy.
Being able to text them.
Holy It's like, "Hey girl, can I give you my number?" She's like, "Yeah, put it in here." By the way, scrolling up really quick so it doesn't say block list, it just says the number.
All right, here's my last one. I was getting ready to hit the bars with some buddies and shaved too much of my beard off. Naturally, I decided to roll with a mustache for the night.
Okay.
Fast forward to the bars and I leave my group to grab another drink. As soon as I get my drink, Jump Around comes on and I get super pumped up.
Jump around.
You know how Jump Around goes?
Jump around.
Bag it up, bag it in. Let me begin.
Jump up, and get down.
That's right. I turn around with a big old smile on my face and end up making eye contact with this girl. She raises her hands and screams, "I don't know what you want from me." I tried to explain that I just really like this song, but she had already bolted off to what I assume was the police station.
Holy fuck.
I shaved my mustache when I got home.
I'm just imagining this guy, like, big old grin with his mustache, jumping and turning around and going, "Ah!" And then just a poor girl, deer in headlights, being like, "Ah!"
Rejected before a
It's not even like a
approach
rejection.
could have happened.
I think she was more scared than like rejection.
Okay, what would you rather be?
I would rather
Rejected or someone
would-
to be scared of you?
I think I would rather be rejected than scared or scaring someone.
I think scared is on level of ew.
Yeah, it's like, what do you mean you're scared? What does that mean? What did I do with my face?
You were born this way?
If you're just walking down the street and someone screams at you and be like, "Ah, he's walking my way.
He's malformed. What do you mean?
Look at that guy with the weird haircut and the feminine hips. Ew, get away from him."
Oh my god, dude! If someone whipped out feminine hips. Oh shit.
Well, that's brutal rejections. There's so many more I can go for. Maybe we'll do this again sometime.
Yeah, brutal rejections are fun. Some of
you
these
guys-
didn't feel that brutal.
If you guys have any brutal rejections that have happened to you, or
Please share
if you're
them.
willing to be anonymous, say "my friend" and tell us the ones that you've done to someone else. We know that everyone's got some in their past.
we won't judge.
We won't judge.
We become
We listen
who we are,
and we don't judge.
We do judge, but we become who we are in the present by experiencing failures in our past. So just live up to it.
Well, it's not their failure.
It's not.
The guy who approached them as failure.
I mean, a bad rejection could be their failure.
It's their failure.
If you told somebody, "Ew, gross," and they're not showing you their penis unsolicited?
Well, you never know. Maybe they had like running boogers all over their face.
Ew, gross.
Exactly. Yeah.
Valid. Anything you wanted to chat about?
Right now?
Yeah.
What a segue you've just provided. Fantastic job, sir.
Fuck you! I don't want to talk about brutal rejections anymore. So I'm asking if there's anything that happened
Worst co-host in the world. Okay, I know we were just talking about something. I'm going to cut it off right here. Anything you want to provide?
I'm still figuring this out.
Provide something for me if you're going to cut it off.
I don't want to know.
What do you mean? We're going to sit here in silence? Everyone's going to leave?
If somebody's watching, they just leave?
Yeah. You out there who's eating dinner while you're watching this, don't go. We have things to talk about. We promise. Nick, provide something for them to talk about.
What I really want to know is for the girls that hate on gaming and watch 4 hours of reality TV in one sitting, why is what you're doing better than gaming?
This feels like a very targeted conversation. Did someone hurt you recently?
I mean, I guess I've been in a relationship in the past where the person was like, why the are you gaming? And some people see gaming as like a forbidden sin.
In my opinion, it's not any activity you do unless that activity directly is causing you harm. It's
like putting your hands in a lawnmower.
Yeah, if your hobby is putting your hands in the lawnmower, how many times have you existed doing this hobby?
What if you like...
How many times have you learned that you enjoy this?
Rubbing boiling potatoes on your butthole.
What?
I'm sure somebody likes that.
I don't think anyone's ever used that sentence before. Boiling potatoes in your butthole?
Putting boiling potatoes
on your butthole. My bad.
On your butthole.
What? Are you practicing to like incubate a phoenix egg? Why?
Incubate a phoenix egg? That was actually really creative.
Why are you sitting on a boiling
I didn't
potato?
say sitting on it, just putting it up against your butthole.
How else are you putting it on your butt? You taping it there?
You just hold it. It's hot. I don't know, dude. It wasn't meant to be thought about.
Let's go back to the other terrible conversation. You're gaming.
Yeah.
I think that it is bad and is looked down upon if you do it when you have other things you should be doing.
But there's some people like, one of my friends, he has a kid, has a wife.
Yeah. He games and avoids them?
No.
Oh.
He barely ever games. He's busy most of the time, works a ton, very active, occasionally games.
Okay.
If he games, like he's told me how his wife's like turned off his like computer before and said like, you don't pay enough attention to me.
We would be having conversations.
That's bad.
Yeah.
I feel like
I'm a petty
some
asshole.
people think that
I would do something about it.
But some people think that some hobbies are just bad no matter what.
Those people are
and these
ignorant.
hobbies aren't meth.
They're ignorant. I don't know. Like if I was enjoying my hobby and it's in my free time and I already did all my responsibilities and I'm not an avoidant, like irresponsible parent
Are you?
or husband or boyfriend or whatever. I'm neither of those because I have none of those things. So
Okay, that's
therefore,
fair.
I'm great at them.
Yeah.
I'm Schrodinger's greatest boyfriend because I don't have one and therefore I am good until proven otherwise. But if I did all my responsibilities that day and I'm having like a 45-minute game session to myself and someone turned off my computer when I'm in the middle of it, I'd probably lock the door, bolt it with a chair, and then go back and play. And then next time they do an activity, I'd probably turn it off. Like, how do you feel
Starts
about
a
that?
bad war.
Yeah. Now I'd try to have a conversation about it.
I guess,
actually, but the petty person inside me needs justice.
Tit for tat.
I also don't even think I would marry someone who'd be like that.
Yeah, I like
the first time that rears its ugly head, I think I'd be like, clearly we're incompatible. Vamoose yourself. Get the away from me. Add yourself to my block list. That's just an incompatibility. Not even gaming. Just like
I guess it is incompatibility.
If you feel like you have the audacity to like interrupt someone's hobby and say you're not paying enough attention to me, when theoretically they are paying as much attention to them as that person is paying attention to their partner.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter what it is. My specific question was like, why does someone see one hobby that is functionally useless? Like, I would say like gaming. But other than like, I guess some games can keep your mind sharp, can keep your reaction time good. I don't know how much value that has to some people.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you can weigh that as useless when everyone probably does some useless
It's just generational trauma. Genuinely, I think.
Generational trauma?
Yeah.
How?
I think most people that are our age or younger that think gaming is a waste of time is because their parents said it's a waste of time. Because when they were kids, all they did was run out and eat rocks. And so they're like, you guys aren't having a childhood. You're inside playing video games. Go outside and have a real...
And they carry that onward?
Yeah, because then the kids are like, oh, I guess gaming is trash and you should never game. You should be outside rubbing dirt between your fingernails and acting like that's a childhood.
Hey, that's fun.
Yeah.
That is a memorable part of my childhood.
Sure. So if your parents tell you do that and don't game ever, then you're going to grow up thinking gaming sucks. And so when you meet someone who games, you're like, my dad wouldn't like you.
Are there any hobbies that aren't like inherently harmful that you could see yourself being like, this is worthless? Why are you doing this?
I think it's genuinely the things that are easy to do and don't provide any sort of long-term gains.
I mean, that's a lot of things.
Well,
I mean, you can do things that are essentially
they're all kind of the same thing.
Like, okay, if you draw and you're terrible and you do nothing with it, how is that any better than watching a show or gaming or anything? Like,
I think theoretically, someone could fathom that drawing is an art form that's been around for centuries and you could make a living off of it.
You're terrible though. Like,
it's your hobby. You suck.
There's plenty of people that are horrible at their hobby. I knew people that gamed thousands of hours and were awful.
Yes. Okay. You can suck at your hobby, but like if you're going to do it to the detriment of other things in your life,
like giving up other things.
Yeah. I feel like it's okay to suck at a hobby. It's not like you can't suck.
Yeah. I think that's a perfectly fine thing to have.
But like if you do suck and you've been doing it for a long time and like you're also neglecting other parts of your life, maybe have some priorities. I think the main thing is don't neglect the main important parts of your life. And why people think gaming is trash is because if you game, you're not being physically active. Actually, you're hurting your physical
by being
your physicality, because like you're getting like neck problems and shriveling up. You're not getting any vitamin D because you're not outside. You're not really getting any social interaction because the social interaction you're getting is garbage because people online suck and they say they're gonna mom. Yeah. And that's not
because you
normal.
Can't punch someone through a computer screen.
Yeah.
Not yet, at least. Not yet.
And unless you're like 12 and have the reaction time of a fly, you're not making any money from gaming.
Yeah, most people will not make a dime from gaming.
Yeah. So there is the stigma that it is not worth someone's time and they would rather you do other productive hobbies.
I just think
like finance and balancing checkbooks
and
watching the Weather Channel.
If you like someone and they don't have like necessarily detrimental thing, or they don't do something to a detrimental degree.
Yeah.
Like say they really like, what's a useless thing that most hobbies are useless.
Yeah, they're hobbies for a reason. They're things you enjoy that provide no external value besides your enjoyment.
Like what if you're 35 years old and you love reading children's books as your hobby?
I would say that you probably should advance beyond that, but reading in general is fine.
What if like you're literally reading at like a first grade level?
Again, I think that you should advance beyond that unless there's some other things that we should discuss, such as are you still in school? You're
35?
Are you caring for yourself? Do you need help? Do you have a job?
Do you want some dinner?
Do you want some Wawa? Do you want Milky?
Yeah.
If you're 35 and you're reading children's books at a first grade level, clearly something has gone wrong in your development where someone didn't like try to hold your hand through it. Now, if you have an actual issue,
I didn't mean for this to be serious.
Well, I don't know. If you are normal, like you have no other issues, you go to the doctor and you're like, yeah, this guy's just average in everything. That's just who he is. Except reading. For whatever reason, no one taught him how to read. That's someone's fault. At early stages, the parents' fault. At some point in life, I would think it's the guy's fault.
Yeah.
If you get to 35 and you can't read for no other reason than you just haven't done it.
I feel like that's one of those very, very general skills that you kind of need.
Learning to read?
Yeah.
That goes beyond skill at that point.
I think a lot of people can't read beyond like a middle school level though.
When they say that just means that they understand how to read. They just don't know some words people use, like photosynthesis.
That's a fairly specific word that the average person
That's a 5-syllable word, bud.
Has no use for.
Anyways, do you have anything else that you wanted to say about gaming? I feel like I've made my point. Well, I think it's fine.
I just wanted to hear why someone thinks that one useless hobby is better than another, as long as they're not detrimental. Like if your hobby is doing heroin,
it's not really a hobby at that point. I don't know. Can you call doing a drug a hobby?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Yeah. Don't say it so emphatically.
Like somebody likes having a drink once a week or smoking weed or something like that. I think that's, what would you call it?
I wouldn't call it having a drink a hobby. That's like something you do while you have a hobby.
Alcoholism.
Yeah.
You're
If
right.
you have a drink and you watch sports, watching sports is your hobby. The drink is not your hobby.
Yeah, I guess that is a problem. If
I don't think like even people that like love food, eating is not a hobby. That's just a part of life.
it is for me.
Going to fancy restaurants and experiencing it can be a hobby.
Eating is a hobby for me.
But the act of eating is not a hobby.
I look forward to eating more than most things in life.
I feel like there's certain things you just can't call a hobby. Yeah, I like breathing. I like just meditating and breathing. Meditating is a hobby. Breathing is not a hobby. I like swimming. Swimming's a hobby. Not drowning is not a hobby.
And on today's bit of, is this a hobby or not?
I like fighting. Fighting's a hobby. Getting punched in the face repeatedly is not a hobby.
They could be one and the same.
No. If you attempt to fight for fun, then you are actively trying to hit back. If you're just standing there with your hands behind your back getting railed on,
What if you don't have a choice?
that's not a hobby. That you're a kidnap victim. Are you getting paid? Why are you in this situation?
You were trying to fight and you're very bad. And you're just getting annihilated. You can't land a hit. You're just eating shit.
But you're trying.
I suppose.
Yeah. No, if your hands are behind your back and you're just taking it.
Hey, don't yuck someone's yum. Somebody might like that.
I don't care if it's your yum.
They might take that
It's
and like
not
it.
a hobby.
Getting punched in the face?
That's another thing. Sex, not a hobby. Sex is not a hobby.
What is it then?
It's not a hobby.
It can be.
No, it's a pleasurable act of social interaction.
Fuck, I believe you just defined a hobby.
No, a hobby is an activity that you can develop deeper connections with
Is
on
sex
your
a
own
hobby?
time.
That
Sex
is
is
a great
not a hobby.
question. You can do hobbies with other people. Your hobby could be playing
I'm not saying-
soccer.
I'm not
Playing
saying-
soccer alone would be horrible.
No, I'm saying you can have a hobby that is other people. You can have a hobby that's by yourself. I do not think
Sex is technically having a hobby that is somebody else.
I don't think you can have a hobby that is another person. You are not my hobby.
Well, okay, if you're having sex purely for pleasure, not for the process process of creating spawn,
That's most sex.
no.
What do you mean? No.
Most sex is for pleasure. Oh, you were saying that, okay.
You're saying that creating spawn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like reproducing.
Most sex is not for that.
Exactly. Most sex is for pleasure. How is that not a hobby?
Because it's not a developed activity that you deeply
Fuck yeah,
explore.
it's developed.
No, your social connection with somebody else is not a hobby. Our friendship isn't a hobby. What we do during that friendship's a hobby.
Yeah, sex is something you do. It's not
No,
just-
sex is part of that connection. That's like talking. Is talking a hobby?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Talking can be a hobby.
No, it's not.
You like meeting together to just talk with someone. You don't want to do anything else. You just want to talk.
No.
Hanging out.
No.
Hanging out's not
No.
a hobby. Sex can be a hobby.
Hanging out is not a hobby.
Wait.
Hanging out is the absence of a hobby.
I want to sit on this for a second. What? Get it?
What, you want to sit on a dick? I don't know where you're going.
Yeah, kill it, you trash can.
You said you want to sit on this for a second, and you made a
sex be a
face.
hobby?
Why can't it? Because it's not a hobby.
You didn't give enough of a reason for it though.
Okay, define hobby in your own words.
Doing something for enjoyment.
That's it.
What else?
So is eating food that you are starving and you're eating it just to live, is that a hobby? You enjoy it in the moment.
No, but you're not having sex to live.
I'm not saying that.
Sustaining yourself. You're talking about eating food to sustain yourself.
You enjoy a nice drink of water on a hot day. That's pleasurable. Is that a hobby?
No,
Why?
because you need water. You don't need sex.
Yeah, you do. You need social connection.
Okay. It's not a primary need that you will
It
die
is
without.
a primal need. It is baked into us.
You will not die without it.
You might.
You might get depressed and then jump off a bridge, but
You might. Someone might die from a sex disorder. Whatever.
probably
that-
from having too much of it rather than not having it.
Maybe.
What I'm saying is sex can be a hobby.
I don't think it can be. I don't think sex is
You
a
wouldn't
hobby.
call it a hobby typically.
I feel like it needs a deeper level and layer to it before it's a hobby. Like eating isn't a hobby. Going to fancy restaurants is a hobby. Sex is not a hobby.
Getting your balls
Perhaps
stepped on with stilettos is a hobby.
no, not that. I think perhaps experimenting in different ways to like if you're trying different sex positions every time, you're like, okay, we have a book of sex positions. We're gonna go through the entire thing.
Okay.
Even then, I struggle to call it a hobby, but at least there you're developing something.
Well, I'm actually curious to ask Google.
I cannot get behind
Can
calling sex a
sex-
hobby. I do not think it can be.
Yes, according to the definition of a hobby, as an activity done for pleasure in one's leisure time, sex can be considered a hobby if someone engages in it consensually and enjoys it as a form of recreation.
I don't
Essentially
agree.
treating it like any other leisure activity they pursue for fun.
That blanket definition covers so many things that also aren't hobbies.
I like this
drinking.
debate.
Drinking water is not a hobby. Breathing is not a hobby.
Honestly, I want this as my that's debatable question.
This is not a hobby.
I think sex is a hobby. If you're not having sex to make a kid, which most people aren't, we've been over that.
Is overdosing on drugs a hobby?
No, that's a result of a situation.
Sex is a result of you having someone that wants to fuck you.
That's like you saying, is coming a hobby?
There you go. Coming is pleasurable to some people. Is that a hobby?
But just coming is not a hobby.
Why not?
Having sex is.
Why?
Jerking off could be a hobby.
I really hope not. Why is coming not a hobby?
Because that is a culmination of an activity.
So is sex. Sex is the culmination of you finding someone willing to you.
You could redefine anything to that. Like playing pickleball is the culmination of finding people that you want to smack balls around with. That's stupid. That's reductive.
No, because the intent of finding people to play pickleball leads to pickleball. It's one and the same. You don't find someone leading to have sex just to have sex. Unless you're
You very well can. People do that exact thing.
No, it's not a hobby.
Okay. I do not see why having a paint night where you have some wine and paint can be considered a hobby. And having a anal night
where you also paint
with bodily fluids cannot be considered a hobby.
I don't think it can be.
Why?
I feel like for it to be a hobby, in my opinion, it needs to have a deeper level besides just doing the thing. If you just do the same thing over and over.
What is a deeper level of gaming like as a hobby?
You're experiencing different situations. You're not playing the same level.
You're not playing the same level of sex.
If your hobby is doing crossword puzzles on the back of a newspaper, I would hope to God you're not doing the same crossword puzzle every day. You're answering the same one.
And you're not doing the same crossword puzzle in bed.
You are.
Not really. No, it's different every time.
No, not really for some people.
It's different in its own way every time.
It's just a little rub, tug, and you're done.
That's sad. That's no longer a hobby. That's depression.
That's what it is.
No,
for
but
some
I'm
people.
like, okay, like my goal in pickleball when I play.
Yeah.
To get a good workout out of it.
Okay.
To interact with people that I like playing with. So like hang out with friends. And to get better. My goal with gaming is typically the same. Except I don't get a workout out of it. I get a mental stimulation out of it. There's actually been some studies that it's pretty beneficial.
I feel like it needs to be some deeper level of social or personal development that is involved specifically with that hobby. I don't think that you can just do a base instinct thing and call it a hobby. I don't think eating is a hobby. I don't think sleeping is a hobby. I don't think drinking water is a hobby.
Those are things that are required for survival.
And I think sex is one of those primal things that
but it's not required.
You were instinctually driven to do it.
There's people that haven't had sex for 10 years and they're perfectly fine.
They're desiring it and probably down bad for anyone that has a heartbeat.
Maybe some people are just like perfectly fine not having sex.
I don't think social interaction is a hobby. It's a primal nature that you want it.
I think social interaction is too vague to make it a hobby.
That's the same thing
That's
with
like
sex.
saying doing things.
Yeah. You said hanging out earlier. I don't think it's a hobby. Hanging out is the absence of doing something.
Hanging out is very, very vague. But a hobby of yours can be having like philosophical conversations.
That's a specific thing.
That's
You've narrowed it down.
That's a specific type of talking.
So that's what I'm saying.
Gossiping can be a hobby.
Barely.
No, there's people that love it. I guarantee there's at least 10 people watching right now.
I don't consider them people.
That consider gossiping a hobby.
Barely. I'll give it's more than sex as a hobby, but it's not a hobby.
I don't see why sex can't be a hobby.
I think it's you can't have something that's such a base part of the human existence to be a hobby. I've already said like the 4 or 5 things. Is growing your hair a hobby?
That's literally passive. No, you can't go, well, that's a perfect example. No, you put those hands down. That was a shit example.
Taking a shit a hobby? Some people find it more pleasurable than sex. I have sources.
Pooforia?
Yes.
I experienced pooforia.
Is taking a shit a hobby?
Their sex must be horrible.
No, some people just have a really active butthole, I guess.
Their sex must be horrible.
Is taking a shit a hobby? Yes or no?
No, but I do enjoy it.
Why?
I have to do it.
What do you mean you have to? You don't have to.
What do you do if you don't?
Cut a hole in your stomach and you have a colostomy bag. Just kind of like drips out.
That's not even, it doesn't even fit.
Or go on an all liquid diet.
You're still pooping.
No. It's like all Gatorade. Yeah, it's all piss diarrhea.
Yeah, you're pissing out of your asshole.
I don't think pooping is a hobby. I don't think sex is a hobby.
I imagine pooping is less of a hobby.
I don't think kissing is a hobby. Is firmly handshaking people a hobby? No.
People arm wrestle.
That's an activity.
Yeah.
With a goal.
But like the things you're presenting are things no one does. Like no one is like, hey, do you want to? Hey, on Tuesday.
Hey, you want to firmly handshake each other?
Hey, on Tuesday 7 to 8 handshake. Oh my god.
Some people have they have calendars and timers for pooping. Wake up every morning, 8 a.m. poop.
That's your body is in a rhythm.
I cannot get behind calling sex a hobby.
I can.
It doesn't feel right.
You like doing an activity for leisure. There's no there's literally zero purpose for doing it other than enjoying it. If you're not having a kid.
That's the same as eating though.
What do you No.
Why are people so fat then?
That's because people have a disorder.
Because they eat more than they should.
They eat out of boredom.
So they eat. Is eating a hobby?
It is at that point.
No, it's not.
It is.
No.
For people that are eating that they're not hungry, that is a disorder. It is. I mean, I eat out of boredom all the time.
You call a disorder a hobby?
No.
So you just said that. You said it's a disorder.
No, I'm saying if you're eating too much, it can be a disorder.
Is someone with OCD checking their doorknob that it's locked every time they leave their house 3 times? Is that a hobby?
That's very different from sex.
How? It's innate.
You're not doing it for pleasure. You're doing it because you have a disorder.
If you have OCD and you're checking things over, you are pleasured once you realize that you're good.
I think eating can be a hobby in the sense that like every time you eat isn't for pleasure. I mean, we happen to be wired to naturally like it because it's part of our survival.
So you're saying that if you're having sex and a kid happens to come from it, it's not a hobby anymore?
It was done in the process of a hobby.
What if it was done with the intention of having a kid, but you still enjoyed it?
Then that's not a hobby.
Why?
Because you were trying to make a kid.
But you still enjoyed it.
Because that's more purposeful.
So the exact same thing with somewhat of a different intention, but in a vacuum, the same act is now no longer a hobby because you had a purpose.
I don't know. Like there can be an unsatisfying way to game that makes it no longer a hobby. Like if your goal is in gaming is no longer to play, it's just to catch cheaters. That's probably not fun.
Well, here's another example. Here's a wing of things. I don't think you can make money.
What the fuck is a wing of things?
A branch. If you have a career of something, it's not a hobby. If you make money from it as your primary income, it's not a hobby.
I mean, people oftentimes turn hobbies into careers if they're successful at it.
They turn it into it, but it's no longer a hobby.
Yeah, now it's a career.
So if you have something that's your career, it's your main source of income, it's not a hobby. You're doing it for
I'm sure
work.
porn stars don't get as a hobby.
So if something you can do for pleasure, you can still work and be pleasured by it. If that's not a hobby because of the condition that
people often talk about having a hobby that is also a career.
It's not a hobby.
Like people who fucking love basketball and happen to be NBA players.
That's not a hobby.
Their hobby is their career.
It's their job.
It's an overlap.
It's a jobby.
They're still enjoying the shit out of it. It's still a hobby.
No, it's a jobby.
Okay. Jobby, that's a good term.
Yeah, it's something you enjoy. It's your job. It's a job, not a hobby.
Okay, but a hobby is specifically saying something you do in your leisure time for pleasure. How does sex not fall into that?
It's not your leisure time. You should be sleeping.
Huh?
You should be asleep.
When you're having sex?
Yeah, you should be asleep. You guys,
we're now circumventing the point, and I no longer like.
I
this.
think that I personally think the base instincts that are ingrained into humans cannot be considered a hobby, even if you enjoy them.
But birth control, condoms, whatever IUD, any form, they're all birth control. Birth control exists so that you can have sex without the threat of accidentally getting pregnant, right?
And hemorrhoid donuts are so that you can poop without having a hemorrhoid.
That's to prevent a problem.
Oh.
But
what is
no
a
one
contraceptive?
poops for pleasure.
What is yes, they do.
Very few people poop for pleasure. Many people have sex for pleasure. Most people having sex are doing it for pleasure. You agree, yes?
That's not the only condition for
a
hobby.
hobby is something you do in your leisure time for pleasure,
and
yes?
tell me how many times you've had pleasure playing League of Legends.
Very few.
Well, then there you go. It's not a hobby.
It is.
League of Legends?
Yeah, it's just a risky hobby.
No, of course, but you're not having fun. You're not pleasured.
It's a risky hobby.
It's not risk. You lose all the time. There's no risk involved. It's guarantee
of having people that make you upset. Gaming is still a hobby.
Gaming is a hobby because you are doing an activity.
Okay.
With other non-integral parts of humanity involved.
Okay, well said.
Yeah, sex is one of those things that is part of you. identifiably.
What do you think sex is then?
What do you mean, what do I think it is?
Like, what if it's not a hobby? What is it?
It's just an act. It's like eating. It's just an innate thing that people do. Right there, you just drank water. You're not drowning. You're not dehydrated.
I mean, I'm drinking water because I desire it out of thirst.
And you now have pleasure that you've had that water. Anything
Yes,
can be called
I'm
a hobby.
biologically programmed to have pleasure from drinking water and
I
eating.
don't think you can call those biological
I
pleasures.
don't think you can call sleeping a hobby, even though I guarantee some people watching could argue against that.
I don't think you can call sleep a hobby. I don't think you can call eating a hobby. I don't think you can call
What do
sex a hobby. And I don't think you can call taking drugs a hobby.
Okay, this is part of our That's Debatable section.
This is the only part of it. I think we've gone on for way too long. This is the only
Do you
thing.
think sex can be a hobby?
I don't think so.
I'm asking the audience, you.
I'm answering for them, you perky.
I think having sex without the desire to have a kid intentionally, you can still have a kid unintentionally, or you can intentionally have a kid and still enjoy it. But I think if you're doing it purely for, hey, do you want to have sex later? You text your significant other.
Is that what you do?
No, not really. I actually don't know what to like. I don't know if it's like,
Hey, for
I don't like saying sex for the
Saying
purposes
sex?
of sex. Yeah.
What do you mean saying sex?
Like, I don't like, it doesn't naturally come out to saying like, do you want to have sex? Like,
hello, would you like to have the sex?
like I like calling it other things like shacks or
Shex?
schmacks or
So you're just saying it in a dumb accent.
boom boom or like, I don't know. I don't,
All right, Bam Bam.
maybe I have a stigma for the word sex.
You have something.
It's a hobby.
It's not a hobby.
Thank you guys for watching. If you guys want to see the uncut and uncensored version of this podcast in advance, and you get the Patreon exclusive version, which we're about to film, then check it out on Patreon. Please like and subscribe. It helps us out a ton.
Yes.
And we will see you guys next week.
Thank you so much. We love you.
Thank you to the
Wow.
patrons.
Mwah.
Peace.